20 years in the military?
I got 42 years with the federal government.
Is that right?
Yes.
Including the postal service.
Right.
Yeah.
I went in. Well, I graduated from here in Kemp High.
Yeah.
In 1960.
Right.
And went in the military when I was 18.
Yeah.
And basic training in the AIT at Fort Hood.
Right.
And then my first duty assignment was over in Bamberg, Germany.
I see.
And then I stayed. I got caught in on that Berlin crisis.
Uh-huh. How old are you?
I'm 68.
Is that right? You
I
don't
just
look
turned 68.
Sure look that old.
Yeah, well,
You're looking good. You feeling good?
Well, I've had 5 major operations.
Really?
I had open heart surgery in 95, and I've had some other surgeries since then. So I don't let it bother me. I just get up and take day by day. Whatever I feel like doing, I just get up and do it. Of course, I don't have to work no more.
Where'd you grow up?
Right here.
Right here in Bryan?
Right here in Bryan. I grew up in right here in Bryan.
Is that right?
I graduated from the old EA Kemp High.
Uh-huh.
You know what Neal Elementary School is now?
Right.
That's it used to be the old EA Kemp High, and then they went out on the 19th way out, and then they eventually built Bryan High. Everybody started going to Bryan High.
So what year did you graduate from high school?
1960.
60? And then did you go straight in the military after
I went
that?
straight in the military.
I see.
Straight in the military after high school, and then spent 20 years there.
So where you went in the Army?
I went in the Army.
I see. And so what sort of, take me through your military service. Obviously in 1960.
Okay, I started out in 60, based in the AIT in Fort Hood, Texas.
Right.
And then my first duty assignment was the 2nd Squadron, 7th Cav in Bamberg, Germany.
Uh-huh.
And then I stayed a tour there. And then I rotated back to the States in 1963, and I was at Fort Riley, Kansas.
Yeah.
And then I think I spent about 18 months there, less than 2 years there.
Yeah.
And then 65, I got orders to go to Hawaii.
Okay.
And that's where the 25th Division was stationed.
Uh-huh.
And then we got alerted that we was going to Vietnam.
What was your specialty? What did you do? Were you just a ground soldier? Were you?
I was a 19 Delta, which is a recon specialist.
Uh-huh.
I retired as a recon platoon sergeant.
Okay.
In 1981.
Uh-huh.
First, I started out in the scout section, and then once as I got promoted, then I graduated up to platoon sergeant.
Right.
So basically, my entire tours with cavalry units. I had one duty assignment with the infantry battalion and several duty assignments with the armored battalion.
Uh-huh.
The 19 Delta is kind of unique. In the infantry battalion, you have what they call a scout platoon. Armored battalion, you have what they call a scout platoon. But in your regimental recon squadrons, it takes 3 squadrons to make a regiment.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go in a squadron, you got troops, then you got 3 light platoons, which recon platoon. A recon platoon consists of scout section, tanks, infantry, and a mortar section.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, a lieutenant has to configure 4 elements. In other words, all 4 elements has to work together.
Right.
So it's very difficult platoon to run. So
yeah.
And I was a platoon sergeant. Of course, you have as a platoon sergeant, I'll assist him in the field operation, and then of course in garrison we work together and keep everything squared away.
Right. So you're at Fort Riley in 63, Hawaii in 65.
65.
In 65.
And then Vietnam in 66 to 67.
66, 67. One tour of Vietnam.
Right.
In 66, 67. Where were you in country? Where did you?
Pleiku.
Pleiku?
I was in Pleiku.
Tell me about that year in Vietnam. What was your?
Well, mine was we was deployed from Hawaii, and then A Troop and C Troop. I was in A Troop, and we left Hawaii en route to Okinawa.
Uh-huh.
You know, the Army has pre-positioned vehicles stockpiled in various areas. So all our vehicle was in Okinawa. We had to go and draw all our combat gear, the tanks, weapons, and chest fire and all that over in Okinawa. and then we left Okinawa, and we landed in it was a 5-day trip. Then we landed in Cameron Bay, and then we rode march all the way up to.
So you went by boat?
LST.
LST?
It was 2 troops on, one troop on an LST. And then I was there. We had several operations. I think I was there for about 6 months, and I caught malaria. And I was, matter of fact, from Vietnam due to malaria.
I see.
And then I stayed in the train. I guess about 3 months, and then they medevac me through via Clark Air Force Base into Japan, Johnson Field Hospital.
Right.
And that's why I stayed until I got cured, and then I got orders from Camp Zommer. Then I came back to the States, which my first duty assignment after Vietnam was Fort Hood again.
Yeah.
So I went back to Fort Hood with the 67th Armor, and then from there I spent about a year at Fort Hood, and then I went to Augsburg, Germany, and I was 67, and then with the 24th Infantry Division. Then they reforged back to Fort Riley, and then stationed at Fort Riley. Then that's during that time the 1st Infantry Division was in Fort Riley, was in Vietnam. And then since then they done moved back to Fort Riley now.
I see.
And then
so how long were you in Vietnam before you got sick?
About 6 months.
About 6 months?
6 months.
That's it. During that 6 months, were you on the ground? Were you fighting the war? Were you in recon?
We had a reconnaissance mission that we had to go with. We mainly went out on search and destroy.
Yeah.
And then we had one of my units was a second platoon. They was in a big firefight. Of course, we were just adjacent to them. We got a little that went over, but mainly we done was. I'm trying to get you to see the concept of a recon squad.
Yeah.
We go out and seek and find the enemy.
Right.
In other words, that may be some areas that we might have to. The brigade commander say we need to go and get a reconnaissance over here. We might have some armaments over here, so we go over and research those areas.
Right.
And we mainly. Anytime a recon squadron with a division, we're the eyes and ears of the division. And once we seek out the enemy, then we move to the flanks.
I see.
And then that's why your infantry come in, your armor come in.
Yeah.
So right. we equipped to fight just to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
Hit and get out of there.
Right.
And then the infantry and the armor come up, the artillery. Then we're not there to fight a whole battle.
So you got on the edge of some firefights. Did you get in any other testy situations, resistance situations?
Oh, we always in a resistance situation, because you might run up on some Arvins while we was over there, and just before I left there, I got blowed up on APC. We was in an LZ. And this particular time, I had to go back, and we had to go back to my base camp and get food. And I went back to base camp to pick up a hot meal, and on the way back, then I got blown up with a landmine.
I see.
And so you never know why they were, because as we come out, they come in and throw mines in there where they always say don't use the same route as you go in.
Right.
And so this particular time I went the same route, and then they was in the area, then they laid a mine, and that's how I got blown up in the APC.
Were you injured?
No, I was just scared.
Yeah.
The left differential is blown off, and then of course we had to get a recovery vehicle to get it out of there. Said the track was blown off. We'd take the tracks and everything off like that.
I see.
And it was always tense. Yeah, it was always tense, and our mission was always either out on the flanks or either go and recon some areas. For the we was with the 3rd Division Task Force, It was 3rd Division Task Force, 25th Infantry Division.
Right.
And I think just after I left, the 4th Infantry came over and taken over Pleiku end.
I see.
So all the colors, like that brigade up in Pleiku was part of that 3rd Brigade of the 4th Infantry. And then the headquarters was down in Kuchi.
Yeah.
Down in Kuchi.
How'd you get around on your missions? Were you on Jeep? Were you on foot? Were you on?
Well, we had APC.
Yeah.
Well, let me give you some of the configuration.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, when we went to Okinawa, we had to draw equipment, weapons, what we had on weapons, with test for all our guns and all that. The scout section had 4 APCs. Okay, the platoon leader was in the APC. Then you had 2 tanks. Then you had a mortar carrier, which is M106, at full punch deuce mortar.
Right.
And then you had the infantry section. They had an APC. So we didn't. Ours was more or less mobilized. You know. Now we had our infantry squad went out on night patrols. Like we went in an LZ, secured our position. Then the infantry would go out and do a night patrol around the perimeter, or go set up an OP or something.
Right.
An observation post out in front of the troop.
Right.
And mainly when we went into an LZ and to a position, everything was sitting around the tanks. We had to make sure those tanks are secure and make sure we protect them. And of course, we had the M60 tank. I believe that's what it was.
What kind of weapon did you carry?
I had M16.
M16?
Yeah, M16.
Yeah.
And then we had the M60 within the scout section. We had M60. On an APC, they had a 50 caliber mounted in the TC hatch. I commanded from the TC hatch. My main weapon was the fight was the 50 caliber. Then I had 2 gunners on each side that had M60s. So we had firepower on both sides of us.
Right.
So it was a 4-man crew. We had a driver, 2 crewmen, and a tank commander. Now the M60s, the tanks, they had a full crew, which is a driver, tank commander, gunner, and a loader. And they had, I think it was at the 105 millimeter we were shooting out of there.
Right.
Was you ever in the military?
No, I wasn't.
Oh.
No. What was your feelings in those 6 months when you were there? Were you frightened? Were you scared? Were you there to do your duty? Were you there to did you have thoughts about the war? What were your
My feeling was I'm in country, I gotta protect myself.
Exactly.
You know, you have now, so you know you can't have no harsh feelings about it, but everything is the bottom line. I put it this way: bottom line, you must stay alert.
Do what?
You must stay alert.
Yeah, right.
All the time, you know, and a lot of time we'll get missions to go around, and we might be go to a mission, and we done right outside of Cambodia. We had a Hauser battalion, which had the 175s, and they had those 8-inch guns. And usually we would go around and provide security around this artillery battalion because they have no other means for security. So that was a lot of our mission. That when our turn you move out into a position, the fire base, then someone has to go in there and secure them. And then during the day, we would leave that position and go out and do some reconnaissance, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. How did you develop malaria? Do you know?
Well, you know, malaria is transmitted through mosquitoes.
Right.
That's how I call it.
Yeah.
Well, it was during the time. It was during the monsoon season.
Right.
It went a lot of rain and a lot of mosquitoes were out there then. And then I developed it. The only reason I realized I had it is that my temperature went up about 105.
Wow. You were sick.
Yeah, it was too high.
Yeah.
Then you feel cold, but you're not really hot. You burning up.
Right.
And when I went to the hospital, they had to take ice packs and spray me down, bring the temperature down
Right.
real low. And it was an experience.
Where did they medevac you to? Where'd you recuperate?
In the train.
Okay.
In the train, Viet Nam.
Okay.
Yeah. But first, I went back to my medical unit.
Yeah.
And then from that, they flew me back to the train.
Okay.
To a field hospital.
In Vietnam.
Right.
Yeah.
They had field hospital all over. And then from the train, after I recovered in the train, they flew me back to Japan. And of course, we stopped over in Clark's Air Force Base in the Philippines. And
Mm-hmm.
I had to spend the night there. And then the next morning, we boarded up and flew in to right outside of Tachikawa.
Right.
Tachikawa, New Dakota, there are 2 Air Force bases there. And Johnson Field Hospital right outside of that.
Right.
Right.
So how long did it take you to get well?
I stayed in the hospital about 3 months, and then and after I left there, I transferred over to Camp Zama.
Mm-hmm.
Camp Zama is what they call it's an overseas replacement unit. Everybody, and then I worked in the R&R center there. Like people was coming from Vietnam on R&R, then we had to go pick them up, process them in and out, and then take them back to the airport, and so they go back to Vietnam.
I see.
And then it was just a unit where you stay there as a staging unit, where everybody stay there until you get orders to go back to the state.
Now, where was this?
That's in Camp Zama, Japan.
Camp Zama, Japan.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a sort of a drop-off place.
Right. It's just
Yeah.
a processing center.
Processing center.
Right.
So you worked there while you were still.
Well, I
gaining your
worked in
strength
the Air R&R center while I
Right.
was waiting for my orders to come back to the
to
state.
come back to the States. And you
Right.
came back to Fort Riley again?
No, Fort Hood, Texas.
Fort Hood. And then you went to Europe again, right?
I went back to Europe again.
What did you do there?
Let's see, Europe. That was Augsburg, Germany.
Augsburg.
I was with the 24th Infantry. I was in a tank battalion, and I was in a scout platoon then.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just a squad leader then.
Yeah.
I was a squad leader in a scout platoon.
Right.
So a scout platoon and infantry battalions had 2 scout sections,
Mm-hmm.
and I was one of the squad leaders. I had 1 section, then another staff sergeant had another section.
Right. So this would have been what,
67, 68.
68?
Right.
What was going on there then? I mean, was it?
It's just I had orders to go to Augsburg, and then when I got to Augsburg, that's when I found out that unit was coming back to the States.
Yeah.
So they moved the 24th Division out of Augsburg
Mm-hmm.
back to Fort Riley.
I see.
See, for the 1st Infantry in 63 and 65, I was there with the 1st Infantry Division. That was in Fort Riley. Okay. During that time, the war was going on, so the 1st Infantry went to Vietnam.
Right.
So basically, there was nothing at Fort Riley, so they moved the 24th Infantry Division back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so now I think the 1st Infantry is back there now. I'm not
Right.
good for sure. I think they're back there now.
Right. Were you concerned that they'd send you back to Vietnam, or?
Not really, because I had thought about it. If I came back on the horse, I was the only son.
Mm-hmm.
I was the only surviving son,
Right.
so I could use that to get back. And then I caught malaria,
Yeah.
and they never did send me back on the horse. I was concerned in one while, but after I got from malaria, then I said, well, I don't think they'll send me back. And I never did.
Right.
And
Right.
of course,
So you were an only child, or you had siblings?
No, I'm the only son.
Yeah.
And I had 2 sisters.
Yeah, 2 sisters. I see.
So after me, well,
Yeah.
I have my son and my grandson carry
Right.
the name on.
Right.
But during that time, I was the only son.
Right. So you came back to the States after being in Germany,
Mhm.
and then take me from there, because you still got.
Okay, well, I was in Augsburg, and then that was 69. I went to Korea.
Uh-huh.
I spent a year in Korea.
Yeah.
Well, I re-enlisted, and of course I was getting close to re-enlisting, and I wanted to go to Alaska, because a good friend of mine, he wrote me a letter saying, hey, you need to come to Alaska. And he he was in ground surveillance. And then I told him, I said, well, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna re-enlist. I'm gonna re-enlist, and then I'm gonna request Alaska. But they didn't give me Alaska. They sent me to Korea.
Korea.
So I ended up doing a tour in Korea.
Right.
A tour in Korea.
What'd you do there?
I was in scout section. I was in the 4th or the 7th CAV. I was in recon squadron.
Right.
And we had this regular scout platoon, the same configuration with the scouts, tanks, mortars, and infantry.
Right.
And I was in the scout section then.
I see. I see.
I spent a year there. Of course, that was kind of a short year. It was cold.
Yeah.
Then after I left Korea, I went to. Where did I go? Hold on, this minute. I went blank there for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, I was the 2nd Division in Korea.
Okay.
Okay. And then from there, I went back to. I'm wrong. Let me retract that.
Okay.
I was in Fort Ord, California after the. I went to Fort Ord, California. Then I went to Korea. Then from Korea, I went to the 24th Infantry Division in Augsburg. Then after Augsburg, I went back to Fort Riley. And then
so you were in Korea first, and then you were in Augsburg, and then back to Fort Riley.
Okay, we go back to Vietnam. 25th Division. I went to Fort Hood, the 6th. I'm gonna say that. Went back to Fort Riley. 24th Infantry Division, Korea.
Right.
I was in 2nd Infantry Division. Then from Korea, I went to Fort Ord, California.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got it.
I got it.
All right.
Went to Fort Ord, California. Then I went back to Germany to the 2nd Armored Cavalry Regiment in Bamberg. Okay. And then from there, I went back to Fort Hood to the 1st of the 50th Infantry.
Right.
With a scout platoon. At that time. That's when I made E7. Then I got promoted to E7 then. And then I was a scout platoon sergeant. And then from there, after Fort Hood, I went back to Germany to the 2nd Armored Cavalry Regiment in Schwabach, Germany.
This is like if I'm counting right, including before Vietnam, this is about your 4th tour of Europe.
I spend most of my time in Europe. That's what I'm trying to say. I spend most of my time in Europe. Yeah. And then from Europe, from Augsburg, from Schwabach, I rotated back to the States, and that's why I went to 5th Infantry Division in Fort Polk.
Louisiana.
Fort Polk, Louisiana.
Right.
That's why I retired.
Okay.
That's 81.
In 81, you retired from the military.
From the military.
In 81.
Right.
And then did you come back to Bryan?
No, I stayed in Louisiana, Lafayette. I guess about 3 months. Not too much like Lafayette. And then I came back to Fort Worth. I had a sister living in Fort Worth. I had 2 sisters living in Fort Worth. One living in Fort Worth, one living in Dallas now. And I stayed with her for about 3 months. And then I went and applied for a job at the Postal Service. And got hired in.
In Fort Worth?
Fort Worth.
Yeah.
And then I stayed there 20 years.
Okay, so you were at the Postal Service in Fort Worth for 20 years.
Right.
I see.
And from 82 to 02.
Did you carry the mail? Did you work in the office?
I was a machine operator.
Oh, okay.
You know, what they call the FC machine. You know, when you mail a first class letter. And then it has to go through a machine to cancel it.
Yeah.
That's the kind of machine I ran. I ran it for 18 years.
I see.
Yeah.
In the same office in Fort Worth?
Right. I worked in what we call the GMF, General Mailing Facility. In other words, all the mail in the surrounding area, Dallas, and they come through there and we process it and then we dispatch it out.
I see.
Yeah. It's not. It wasn't a substation. Well, if you ever been to Fort Worth, and they got Jack Watson facilities out on Meacham Boulevard. That's the big processing center for all the surrounding towns in there.
Yeah.
So I worked there for.
So you stayed there for till what, 2000? Or
December 2002 is when I moved back, and I moved back home.
2002,
Right.
and you moved back here.
I've been here ever since.
Now, were you married or when?
Well, I've been married several times.
Okay. Have you, are you married now?
No, I'm single now.
You're single now? Okay. But, so you were, tell me about your family, your kids, and how many kids you got, and you got grandkids, and...
Well, I have 2 kids, and not by any of my wives.
Right.
I have a son live here,
Uh-huh.
and he have one son,
Uh-huh.
Victor. He works for one of these auto companies, service companies out here.
Uh-huh.
Then my daughter, she lives in Topeka. She's a nurse,
Right.
and she got she got a daughter and a son.
Right.
They both going to the University of Kansas.
Oh, okay.
And my grandson just got a scholarship, for track,
At Kansas?
and he's going to the University of Kansas.
Okay.
And my daughter, she's studying to be a journalist.
Oh, is that right?
A journalist. She's going in the next. So she's
At
I
KU?
think she got it right.
Uh-huh.
I think she got another year left.
At KU?
Right.
That's your daughter?
And my granddaughter.
Your granddaughter?
Right.
Okay. Okay.
My daughter's husband, my son-in-law, he's a coach, and he's matter of fact, he's my grandson's coach, and a teacher.
I see.
So since he's going to University of Kansas, he's giving up his coaching career. He's just going to teach, so he can follow his son on doing his track, have coaching doing his track.
I see. So he teaches at Kansas?
He teaches one of the local schools there.
Oh, one of the high schools.
High school.
I see. I
And
see.
then
And he was coaching
Right.
there, so he's gonna
he's gonna give up his coaching.
so he can follow his son's track career. Yeah.
Well, you want to try to help him through track.
Yeah.
It's gonna take a lot of time. He's really dedicated. I was out there. He graduated in May. And I went out to his graduation, so it rained him out, and then I had to go and stay there Monday to watch him run track.
I see.
He's I think he's the last leg on the 440.
Yeah.
Oh,
So he's a sprinter.
yeah, he's really good.
What's his name?
Derek Perry.
Derek Perry.
Yeah.
And he just finished his freshman year or?
No, he just finished graduated from high school.
Oh, so he just
the next
finished
year
high
he's
school.
going in.
So he'll be a freshman this fall.
Right.
I see.
Right.
Oh, good. That's got to be exciting. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well I've been
Yeah.
kind of laying back. I told my daughter called me Father's Day, and I told her, I said, well, when he started running track in college, let me know.
Yeah.
Well, it's about it's a good 7-hour drive
Right.
from here to Wichita.
Right.
It depends on how you drive and how you. When I drive, I drive so far then I stop. I make
Yeah. Yeah, it's a long drive up there.
Oh yeah. Well, it's a nice drive. But on the way back, I stopped by. On the way back from Topeka, I told my daughter, I said, I'm gonna stop by Fort Riley. So I came back to Fort
Yeah.
Riley, and I don't want to answer that.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I came back to Fort Riley, and I said, well, I'm just curious about what's going on in Fort Riley. I didn't even know the place. I got lost.
It changed, huh?
And I was up on Custy Hill. That's why a lot of the army units had been. And I went up there, and then I don't know what's going on. The army has changed from 81 since I've been out. The vehicle configuration is totally different.
Yeah.
They got Humvees, and and I didn't get a chance to visit in the recon squadrons, the troop around there, because you don't know what's what. Most of your units now, they got those Humvees, and then your army battalion still got their tanks and everything.
Yeah.
But it's the whole military configuration is totally different, and of course they're coming out with a new uniform.
Yeah.
The dress. I think next year they coming out instead of the green, they coming out with the dress blue. It's gonna
Right.
be their primary uniform.
Right.
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 I just found that out not too long ago.
So what have you been doing since 2002?
I'm totally retired.
Totally retired?
Totally retired.
You get involved? You involved with VFW? You involved with what do you?
Well, I've been a member of the VFW for 27 years,
Right.
and then I'm a member of the DAV. Been with that organization for 21.
Uh-huh.
I'm a member of the American Legion.
Right.
I've been in the American Legion. I've just transferred my membership from Fort Worth to 159.
Yeah. American
And-
Legion.
Right. And then another unit I'm involved with is the VVA, Viet Nam Veterans of America.
Uh-huh.
I'm in that organization. And then I'm also a member of the Elks Lodge.
Right.
And so I support all my military organizations.
Yeah.
You know, so now we just got a new commander with the VFW, so I'm the officer of the day.
I see.
So
Yeah.
with Mr. Commander John Velasquez, he's
Yeah.
the new
Velasquez. Right. Uh-huh.
he's the new
Right.
commander. So I'm the officer of the day, and in the American Legion, I'm just I don't have any position there, but I do go and participate in the meetings and help when I can.
Yeah.
But I do more work with the VFW because I've been with that unit the longest.
Right.
27 years. So
Right. Right. What was it like to move back here after? I mean, you essentially been gone for 40 years,
you know,
right? You've been in the military, then you've been in Fort Worth.
right.
What was it like to come back to Bryan? Why'd you come back to Bryan rather than just stay in Fort Worth? You just wanted to.
Well, primarily I came back to Bryan because once my mother and I built this home, I told her I'd take care of it.
I see.
You know, and of course, the main reason I come back is there's a lot of property we have here.
Yeah.
So I'm involved with the farm, which is you got two sections. There's one area, one family has 49,
Mm-hmm.
and then another family is 130. Of course, it's all their property. My mother is aired into it, and then I'm involved with that. Of course, during the summertime, I go out there and do no farming. You know, I got cousins go out there. They got 49 acres, be planting hay and
Right.
distant and everything. But I primarily was moving back home to be close to there. Then we had some legal problems before I retired, and then I was taking a lot of time off. So once I turned 60 and I had 20 years, so I could retire from the Postal Service, so I moved back home.
Yeah.
I had some reservations about moving here, and then I have a sister that I'm not coming back to Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I said, I don't know if I want to go back to Bryan now. Then I thought about it. I said, wait a minute. It's the best retirement place in the world.
Yeah.
Bryan is.
Yeah.
It's growing.
Yeah.
You know, and then after about a couple of years I thought about it. I said, wait a minute. I said, well, this is my best position. I got the home house. I got 4 lots I have to take care of. 4 lots with the in town I take care of.
Right.
So all of my business transactions was here.
Right.
So why should I commute from Fort Worth,
Yeah.
come back here
Yeah.
to take care of all this?
Yeah.
Then I had this house rented out, and I said, wait a minute. Move all the renters out, and I'll move back in. So I can take care of my problem. Take care of my own thing.
Right.
So that's basically what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's
Well, I feel, at first, like I say, when you asked me how did I feel about it, well, I didn't want to, but after I moved back here, I said, well,
Yeah.
A&M was growing, and enrollment out there, about 48,000 people,
Yeah.
and they study growing.
Sure.
And so much going around. Every time I go back to Fort Worth, and I look at the how they widening Highway 6 out,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to eventually be 4 lanes all the way
Yeah.
to Waco.
Yeah.
Well, up until from Hearn to after Calvert, from Calvert all the way into Marlin, from Marlin into Riesel.
Right.
It's just about it, almost 4 lanes now.
Exactly.
Then they got one little stretch from Calvert into Hearn that they're finna widen out.
Yeah.
Then they're getting ready to do a 4-lane highway out here from 21 all the way into Madisonville.
Yeah.
So you look at all this and you can say, well, look at the growth going on here.
Right.
So it's kind of dead for socially, but I feel good about coming home. I feel like I'm on a mission. I'm in and around all the property I need to be around, so I don't have to be rushing from Fort Worth down here to go look at something. If I need to go out to the farm and check on something, I have access to go out there to do it. So that's basically why I'm here.
Right.
And now that I got so, after 7 years, I got what I like it.
Yeah.
So I tell my sisters, I said, well, I don't have to be home. Y'all want to come home, you know, and if I want to go somewhere, you got a key, come on in the house, and I just take off. And
so is this your mother's house?
Right. This is the family house. My baby sister was born in the old house.
I see.
So we tore the old house down and built this one.
I see.
In 90, she lived in the 5. She died in 95.
I see. Your mom did.
Right.
I see.
And
I see. So you built the house right here on this property.
Right.
In 95.
Right.
I see.
No. We built it in 90. She moved in 90. 90. We started building on it in 89.
I see.
But it didn't get completed until 90.
I see.
And then she moved in I think it was April of 90.
Right.
Then she lived in it till 95. And that's when she died in March of 95.
Yeah.
And then I rented it for a while, and I had some problem with runs, and I said, well, I ain't gonna rent no more. So that's when I decided
move in when you came. So when you came back here in 2002, you came here.
Right.
I see.
So I've been living in the house here ever since.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I had no problem. A lot of time I just left my birthday. I had a birthday July 2nd. And I packed up and I went up to Oklahoma and spent the night up in Wichita Falls and went over across the Red River there in casino. Gambled on my birthday.
Right.
Spent the night there, and then I came back and I stopped by and visited with my sister in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
And I came on back home.
Well, that's good. You get to do some.
It's something it's a place that. Hey, I got somewhere I can come home to. This is my headquarters. I put it this way.
Yeah.
This is headquarters. This home, and I cherish it. Keep it up. And I promised I was going to keep it up, so that's basically what
you sound happy. You sound really enthusiastic about. You sound like you look like you feel good. So you're.
Well, I look at, I think about of all the things that's going around now. You know, unemployment rate, and I think about my own life. I say, you know what? A lot of times I'll be sitting up and thinking, I say, I've been blessed. Mm-hmm. And I look back when I was 18. And I said, how did I have that much sense at 18? So, I said, well, I'd rather stay in the Army and do 20 years here and get that a little bit and hopefully find a job after that.
Yeah.
And that's what I focus on.
Right.
When I got, they extended me to ETS on the Berlin crisis, and then a lot of my buddies, they came back and got out. Mm-hmm. I said, no, I don't know what I'm going to do. I got to go home. I got to start all over again. Then I said, I took 6 years. So I took a 6 year stretch. Then I went through that same drill in 69. Then I had 9 years. I said, well, I'm almost got 10 years of my life. I mean, what's it going to be like me coming back here starting all over again? Mm-hmm. I'm already established. Mm-hmm. So I said, well, I can do 11 years on the head. Yeah. so I stayed in. Yeah. And I look back, man, at unemployment, like people losing their job, you know, and I can't help but being excited about it because, you know, now I don't have to worry about that. Yeah. You know, so I've never been laid off. Right. I'm 68 years old, and never been out of a job. Yeah. And I just can't imagine somebody say, well, hey, I got to go find another job. I'm getting laid off. People getting, like I was watching the news today, police officers up in Nolanville. They've been finna get laid off. Yeah. And that's heartbreaking.
Oh, yeah, so, absolutely.
You know, and I feel good about myself, and I put it this way, if I had to do those again, I'd do it again.
Well, yeah, well, you did your thing. 20 years in the military, 20 years with the postal department, right. And you know, and you gave a career.
I mean,
and the government takes care of you now, so you know.
Every now and then I get out and a lot of times I have some cousins, they come out to Houston, and we have some things out on the farm with. I go, as long as it's not too hot, I can't stand too much heat. Right. Because of my health and my heart condition. Yeah. I don't be out there like early in the morning, and I'm around about 6 or 7 o'clock at the first day break until it start getting hot, and I go out there and kind of till around, you know, and then I get out of there. Yeah. And in the fall of the year, then I go and I do that.
Are these some pictures of?
I think these some of my pictures of
I didn't know whether
This is my when my daughter got married,
Oh, I see. I see.
and this is my grandson here.
Do you have any pictures of you in the military or from or anything like that? Show me what you got.
Training.
Right.
When I first went in the army.
Right.
And this is a picture I have here when I was in advanced Fort Knox. I was going to advanced course.
I see.
And let me cut the light and I'll show you where I'm at.
Which one are you?
Yeah. Right there.
Right there?
Right there.
You're next to the guy that's out of uniform.
He's a Marine.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's Marine? Yeah, he's Marine.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you are.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to borrow these 2 pictures from you real quick, and I'm going to scan them.
Okay.
And then I'll give them back to you.
Okay.
We're going to do this. We're going to do this show. Do you know where KAMU is?